Do you remember Pimp My Ride?
Yeah.
Do you miss the hell out of it, but know that in our current PC culture, a show with Pimp in the title would never be allowed to come back?
Uh-huh.
Well, here's a possible solution. Exhibit's Cool Car Bonanza, this fall on TV Land.
Uh-oh.
Does everybody know what time it is?
Home Impodcast time.
That's right, Binford Tools is proud to present a Home Improvement Podcast. My name is Adam, and you all know my co-host, Jordan. His family crest is a picture of a barracuda eating Neil Armstrong lions.
That is probably a reference to a movie I've never seen.
Bill Brasky.
Oh boy, I have probably seen it then.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you just stream those on YouTube every day?
Every so often, I'll tune into an old Brasky video and just really get my yucks. But that was from some WordPress website that was just a long list of Braskyisms. So I'll be returning to it every now and then.
I can't believe you didn't put that on your WordPress website.
Bookmarked. How you doing today, Jordan?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Adam?
I am just fine. Just fine. I'm
Good.
here. I'm
Good.
talking home improvement with you.
There's exciting developments off
we have
podcast.
huge things.
We're getting close to the 100th episode, and we've got something in the can, something in the works.
It's not necessarily in the can, but it's
it's definitely not in the can. It's out of the can.
It's out of the can. It's near the can.
We're trying to capture it in the can.
Yeah, once we get it in the can, we'll let you know. But we have let's just say a pretty big guest star potentially coming on.
You know, you talked about how you didn't like some podcasts and the personalities on them. I mean,
I would say
it's because we're so good.
The majority of the podcasts that I listen to on a weekly basis, I kind of don't like them. But
we hope you're not thinking that, listeners. We hope you do enjoy us.
No,
but,
I bet they don't like most of the things we say and do.
There's only like 3 home improvement podcasts to choose from, and these guys are the least terrible.
Yeah, and they're like, we don't want to do that one that combines it with Dungeons and Dragons or whatever that is.
Now defunct.
Yeah, now defunct. I'll tell you what's not defunct, Jordan. That's, well, as far as I'm aware, digitalspy.com.
Digitalspy.com.
And you blew up my inbox this morning.
I sent you one by one thoughts on each of these people.
You blew up my inbox, as you want to do, with an article that is entitled 6 TV Characters Who Are Definitely Secret Serial Killers. And then
you went to the website and you got like 5 viruses.
I was going to say, as is a Home Podcast tradition, really slow loading on this page. Just load up with ads. And it is hard to scroll down the bottom because there's just a lot going on. But
why
Jordan,
aren't we writing these articles? Because we don't have ads on our website.
I don't know. We can only dream of aspiring to the level of a digitalspy.com. I mean, that's something you work your whole life for. I'll let you take the reins.
Goals.
I'll let you take the reins on this one since you.
Why don't you let me take the reins? Why don't you hand them over?
You blew up my inbox with this bad boy this morning.
Boy, did I.
Mm-hmm.
This is a great article that I found searching the Google News trends, and this is 6 TV characters, like you said, who are definitely...
News?
It's news.
Okay. Right.
It's news to me. I mean, I didn't realize all these people were serial killers, but... There's 6 TV characters who are definitely secret serial killers. This is by Morgan Jeffrey, and this is pretty fresh, 3 days old.
Oh, wow, I didn't realize that.
So, super fresh. Do you want me to just tell you all of them, and then we can dive deeper into some of our favorites?
In my dream scenario for how this plays out, you do the majority of the talking and explaining, and then I just kind of jump in with, riff a bit,
funny tidbits,
or a hot take, something like that. And this hot take culture, I gotta get mine. So yeah, just go ahead.
Yeah, you'll be the Stephen A. of this podcast. All right, number 1, your favorite, my favorite, Jessica Fletcher from Murder, She Wrote.
Yeah, and I had mentioned to you that I had heard this before. This is, I think, this
is
a kind of,
but you know what?
Common
Other people
conspiracy theory.
Some people might not know it, but I'll go ahead and kind of read it a little bit. So she is a crime author in this series, and she just so happens to end up in these situations where there's some sort of crazy dead body situation going on, and she inserts herself into these kind of investigations. So is it more likely that, 268 times she's been near these situations, or is it more likely that she's setting these situations up herself?
Neither. Two thoughts. One thing that's funny is I think this show takes place in, like, northern Maine, so the fact that there's 268 murders.
There's probably not 268 people.
Hey, I don't want to offend any of our Maine listeners, of which there are certainly several. So that was my first thought. Interesting. My second thought is now escaping me. Yeah, it's gone.
That's how poignant it was.
It's gone. Yeah, but mainly just the.
It was like a Snapchat thought,
Is this not the same premise of the television show now defunct Castle?
I've never watched Castle.
Pretty sure he's a crime writer that's interesting. They would just kind of steal that, but I think they're the same thing. In any case, a great idea for a TV show. Never watched it. I feel like it was on, before we had all this, Jordan, all this streaming and all these options and this, we're just in this kind of instant gratification culture. You just kind of had to use your remote and click around different channels, and I feel like this one was on quite a lot growing up.
There was a channel that was dedicated just to Murder, She Wrote, I think.
Well, I don't know about that, but it was on a lot, so
all right,
next.
Well, yeah, it's next. Dennis Reynolds from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. The show is kind of strange in general. I mean, it's
like the show. Like it a lot.
Yeah. It's a good show. It's a strange sitcom. They have some quirky characters on there.
It's probably too raunchy for you.
I've watched it for a few seasons. Okay. Kitten Mittens is kind of a favorite moment of mine. Danny DeVito doing anything is probably good.
He's good
in that show.
I'm just going to jump in. I buy this one. I think the Dennis character may have left the show, but based on what I've seen, he has all the makings of a serial killer. Next.
Boom. Zach Morris, which we've talked about this a little bit.
I've seen this before.
Basically, he has, he gets girlfriends all the time. They're on the show one time, and then they disappear forever. What happens to them, we will just never know. Also, he's just kind of, like, crazy in general, the stuff that he does to people. There's that, I forget what website it is. They have, like, Zach Morris's Trash. They just do these videos where they analyze the crazy things that he's done.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I would actually, as a follow-up, I would say he could also be a serial killer in Franklin Bash as well, because he's wacky in that, too.
That's kind of his role, huh?
You a big Bash head?
No, I'm not. You often bring up shows that, like, I think they might be real, but also not be real. And I could just, I mean, you could, and I just would never know the difference.
Well,
that's a
good day. I'm going to try that one of these times. Yeah, next show. Yeah.
This next show, it's one of my top 3 favorite shows all time, so I do know a good amount about it. And they're talking about The Office, and they're talking about Toby Flenderson in this article. And Toby is kind of a strange character, but the subplot is kind of centering around the Scranton Strangler.
Heard this before as well. That. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And he's kind of strange. He's often missing at certain points during the Scranton Strangler story. And he's just kind of frustrated. He has like his he's pining for Pam the whole time and never gets her.
Like he was a little bit like he could be kind of skeevy sometimes when he kind of hits on Pam sporadically. That was kind of weirded me out.
Yeah. So, and I guess that's why he goes to Costa Rica. You know, he's on the lam, as it were.
If he saw Jim Halpert as Jack Ryan, he'd
never come near Pam again.
He wouldn't do it anymore. Jordan, keep going.
This is one of your favorite shows. The next one,
I do like
Number 5.
Yeah, I like it.
New Girl and Winston. This one was perhaps the strangest one for me. I don't see it.
Well, he's just a really bizarre character.
He is,
and that they make it's kind of weird with that show. It just ended, but in the beginning, like Nick Miller is sort of just this. He's the bizarre character. He's like the clown, the buffoon. And I would say Winston is a little bit more grounded, and then as the show goes on,
they regress.
Yeah, they kind of like they sort of switch roles. But by the end, like Winston with when that cat, the cat's name, of course, is what's Winston's cat's name? Oh no,
something that we should know.
Gotta look this up. This is important.
Ferguson.
Ferguson, of course. How could I forget?
I love Ferguson.
When Ferguson's in the fold, yeah, Winston just gets a little cray. But yeah, this seems like one of the more weaker entries in the batch.
Yeah, well, we'll see what you think about number 6, because this is why we're doing this.
What if this wasn't a Home Improvement character? What if
the final one?
Yeah, Arnold from Different Strokes. No.
The final one, number 6, from DigitalSpy.com, is Wilson from Home Improvement.
What? I thought it was going to be Mark.
Well, that one would have made more sense to me. In the picture on this article, it's that one episode where Wilson's on the other side of the fence and Tim is on his side. So,
that was a real subversion, that episode.
you love that one.
I loved it.
So, yeah, they talk about how Wilson is enigmatic. He never shows his face. The Wilson W. Wilson moniker seems really strange, maybe an alias. And they also talk about how there's a few episodes where in Baby It's Cold Outside, Tim and Jill are looking for a suggestion for a romantic getaway. Wilson recommends Crystal Lake, which you have ties to Crystal Lake, if I do say so myself. Not that you're Jason Voorhees, but you are an expert on Jason Voorhees.
In so much.
You are this podcast's leading expert on it.
I think anybody that's willing to sit through the 13, 14 Friday the 13th movies deserves to be called an expert, because it's quite an undertaking. I don't know. This is a stupid article.
The final part of this theory, can I read that real quick?
Go ahead.
They talk about later that when they go to Crystal Lake, the Taylors, Wilson's there, and he claims to visit every year. And a fan theory out there says that Jason Voorhees' father might be Wilson. There's really no thread besides that episode.
If you I can do the whole Einstein math. I did a couple episodes ago and probably poke some holes in that, but for the sake of the show, I'm not going to. Hey, it's always good to talk about articles related to home improvement on the show. This guy just took a lot of things that were already kind of out there and repurposed them, but hey,
that's what content's about.
Gotta get that content. So good, bad, ugly, I don't know. Glad we shared it though.
So glad. We'll link to this in our show notes, and surely no one will click on it.
Yeah, hey, we'll put it out there. I think the most likely candidate here, probably Dennis from It's Always Sunny.
Agreed.
Yeah, all right.
Agreed. All right, so with that, we can get into this episode of Home Improvement. You might have forgotten that this is a podcast that talks about the TV show Home Improvement with Tim Allen.
We covered kind of poorly written listicles, but
we might as well. We might as well. And in this podcast episode, we're going to cover episode 93, The Naked Truth, written by Elliot Schoenman and Marley Sims. They last did My Dinner with the Murderer Wilson. And this aired at February 28th, 1995. How many alternative titles do you have today?
Pick up my notes here. I got lulled to sleep during that opening. I don't know. 4 or 5, depending on how I feel.
Yeah, same for me.
I gotta
3
be
or
honest,
4.
these are weak. They just wasn't coming for me this week.
Same for me.
I tried. They're just not that. They're not even bad funny or funny bad.
They're just bad.
Yeah, they're just bad. So
good. We should have 7 or 8 bad titles then.
All right.
This might be one of the times that the episode title is much better than ours.
It might be. Yeah, I think it's a pretty solid title. Go ahead and start.
Yeah, you go first. You got more than me.
Okay. All right, I'm going to do kind of a sexy voice for this one.
Ooh.
The steamy shower secret. So you commented I wasn't done. I said when I said steamy shower, you went, ah!
And then as you continued, I got more and more excited.
Give me a redo. The steamy shower secret. Now you can respond.
Oh my.
Yeah, it's good.
Sounds pretty saucy. How about Tim's boner? Boner as in mistake.
Oh, of course, Jordan. We are a family podcast. This is a family show. So that's a Three's Company level double entendre right there. All right. I don't know. Whatever. Return of the Sherm.
Oh, I love that song. Once again. Ah, man.
Did you? But
sure.
We're talking about Sherman's back.
Sherman.
Hey, Sherman. Hercules.
How about this one's bad. This is awful. I don't feel good about it in any way. So, how about Incestor-in-law?
Okay. I'll do mine. That is gross. Mine's also gross. Sister in Lust. I didn't like writing it, but like it was just there.
It had to happen. Mm-hmm. They can't handle the truth.
We've done things.
we certainly have
things like that.
There was another one I almost did that I most certainly have done about Naked and Afraid or something.
Afraid? We do that a lot. This is my last one. And I apologize to all the children out there. It's a little raunchy.
Oh,
but,
boy.
Hashtag had to do it. Peekaboob. I mean, I guess it's not any different than your first one.
That's better. I feel like they should have just done Peeping Tim.
I know. I thought when that line came during the story, I thought like, oh, that's a pretty good title. But Naked Truth is good as well.
Yeah, they're both all right. So, all right. Plot synopsis. This one's written. Well, I'll tell you who wrote it afterwards because it's kind of a surprise.
Was it Hugh Hefner?
No, it wasn't. But maybe once I read it, you'll be able to guess. When Tim accidentally exposes himself to his equally naked sister-in-law Nancy, who's using his and Jill's shower, he suggests they keep quiet about the incident. However, Nancy breaks the silence and a more uncomfortable one descends.
Okay. You want me to guess? You want me to guess who wrote this?
No. It just seems a little bit more... I don't know. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, okay.
It's better than the usual that we get. This one's written by Steve Green. He's done...
Okay.
And, oftentimes we'll talk about who's writing these plot synopses.
Yeah, what else did he write?
So,
it'd be funny if he was just kind of a pervert. He only wrote for kind of little dirty episodes.
No, I mean, he's done 30 different plot summaries. Most of them are That 70s Show, Scrubs, Everybody Loves Raymond. But
I hate That 70s Show and Scrubs.
You know what? I don't like That 70s Show either. I didn't realize there were other people who didn't like that show, but I'm glad.
Yeah.
This is the most interesting thing I found by perusing IMDb. He did one episode of Xena Warrior Princess, which I know is one of your favorites.
That's a sexy show. I mean, you said Steve Green?
Steve Green.
I think Steve Green's I think he's a little horned up maybe, but hey, to each their own.
All right. Wow.
Let's get in the episode.
Yeah.
I'll start.
Sure.
Jordan.
Please.
I'll start.
Please.
It's kind of my thing.
Hey, will
these
you
days.
start?
Yeah, I'm gonna start. Tool time on location. Tim's bathroom. Back-to-back episodes with Tool time on location.
Yeah, a little bit different on location this time, I feel like.
Yeah, I actually did kind of like this one. I said last week I was often disappointed by the on location. I thought this was okay. There are a lot of people in Tim's bathroom. This is not a bathroom that looked familiar to me, at least not from this angle.
I mean, didn't they do a renovation on this bathroom earlier and they made it bigger?
You tell me, then we'll both know.
I'm pretty sure they did.
Yeah, I don't know.
There certainly is a flurry of people and activity in this bathroom.
I've never seen... You don't have this many people on the actual
That's
set
what
of the
I
show.
wrote down. I said, why is this happening?
But there's a lot of people in there, and it's kind of a panic and a rush, and Jill's, of course, upset that they're there for whatever reason. Tim mentions that the ratings are low, and he thinks that this is going to bring them up. Yeah, man, nothing like a live taping from your own bathroom to
everyone
to
wants
bring
to
up
see
ratings.
how the man lives. The man.
Well, Jill, it's sweeps week. We got to do something big.
Let's go to the bathroom and talk about water conservation and toilets.
So, yeah, you're right. It's water conservation. They open the show with Heidi. She does an introduction, but she's a little bit long-winded. She has a lot of...
this is what you used to do with me.
How so?
You used to have lots of different nicknames for me to start the show.
Oh, yeah. It's hard to do, so I had to stop eventually.
I just trimmed them out.
Did you write any of these down? I mean, it's like Lords of...
Yeah, Boys of the Bowl, I think is one of them. Lords of the Loo.
I remember in high school, a lot of guys from Davidson called themselves Boys of the
Different Bowl.
It was Different Bowl, though.
Yeah, a lot of those.
I think no, I'm not going to say his name. Never mind.
You just called people out in the podcast.
Never mind. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, she does an extra long intro. Lots of those different nicknames.
It's a lot of nicknames. It's okay. But she gets a little carried away to the point where Tim has to, yell for her to stop.
Frankly, nobody knows what time it is because she doesn't say it.
She doesn't say it. Well, that's all right. It's good for her to have some variety. Tim and Al come in. They have some banter. It's not especially meaningful. Like you said, it is Water Conservation Week, and they're talking about, new toilets. Al says something about the space toilet. I didn't take a lot of notes for the scene. And then they cut, and everybody runs in, and Tim is like kind of being a bit of a prima donna here, and has some issues with the lighting.
Yeah, that's often your problem.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer natural light, frankly. But then something kind of strange happens.
It's an urgency we've never seen on the show, I feel like.
Yeah, you're right. Well, I guess on location brings added stress.
Except for last episode when no one cared at all.
And there was like 2 people on that whole... Did you like compare last week's shoot to this week's shoot? It was like 3 people compared to,
they were like,
I don't know, 15.
I guess maybe they decided they needed to have more people around or they're going to blow up houses, so...
Yeah, they gotta be careful. For whatever reason, everyone leaves the bathroom. Maybe there's a parking issue or something. It wasn't necessarily clear to me, except for Heidi. I keep wanting to call her Lisa. It's driving me crazy.
Stop it.
I want to so bad. But then they're also about to go live, so everybody's gone except for her, and the guy's like, "We're going live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1," and she starts, and she has to keep going with these toilet puns.
Mm-hmm. She does a good job, right?
She does a good job. She's presumably she's just kind of riffing on the spot. She's much better at improvisation than either one of us. She must have studied at Second City or Groundlings or UCB or something.
Definitely.
I don't know. I think she's probably a level 2 or 3. And then Tim yells again, and that's the cold open. That's it.
Yeah, I thought this was weird that they did this live. Which I often think that it's weird that they do things live. I don't understand
the rules of the show. I don't know. Sometimes when they need it to be live, it's live. When they need it to be taped, it's taped, it seems like.
It's convenient. This is perhaps the most lines Heidi has had in a very long time.
Yeah, and you know what? I think she handles it pretty well.
Yeah, we should give her more responsibility. We'll see if they do.
Yeah, and I think in later seasons they will.
Perhaps. Next scene, Mark is downstairs.
Return of the sheriff.
Smooth R&B come downstairs as well.
Yeah.
And the boys are excited about going to a bar mitzvah. And Mark is interested. And he, they explain to him what this is all about. And
hey, Jordan, quick cue. I think I know the answer. You ever been to one?
I have never been to one. Please tell me.
Me neither. No, I haven't either.
Oh.
No.
I thought you had it.
Quick cue, quick A.
There you go.
Back to the plot.
Never been to one, but it sounds like Bill Simmons' daughter has been to a few.
Oh my gosh. Don't. How dare you? You bring up the ringer on this podcast. You're just trying to get me riled up.
I am. It works every time.
Hey, Jordan, the ringer sticks, man.
I'm tweeting it at Bill. All right, so Mark is interested after learning what this is all about. They tell him there's lots of gifts and a fun party, and he wants to do it for himself. There's some brother banter. It's not particularly good. They, fisticuffs, such. Jill comes home. Tim comes in. She was at the dry cleaners with Randy's suit, which made me think a couple of things. One, he's old enough to have a suit. 2, he wears it so much he needs it to be dry cleaned. Why?
And that's funny. I didn't think about that. When we see the suit later on,
it's a great suit.
I just wonder where he's wearing this thing. I love that suit. It's double. Well, we'll talk about it. It's double breasted, and it looks pretty stellar on him. But getting it dry cleaned, it's hilarious.
It's a bit. Just some logical questions I have.
Yeah.
Apparently, he wears it so much that there's like notes in the pocket. He's like answering phone calls.
Yeah.
And
that implies that he wore it like last week or something. I mean,
2 days ago.
I don't know.
2 days ago.
2 days ago, he wore a suit. A lot of bar mitzvahs.
Yeah, so usually we see him in like those really baggy jeans and sweatshirts, but he is also sporting this suit every once in a while.
He's fashion forward. He's making a conscious effort to, look a little bit better. I think it's the ladies in his life. He's doing it for them.
He sure is. It probably works out well until he splits his pants later. But we'll talk about that later. So Jill talks about how she found a note and she missed a message from her mom. They go on. I think the boys leave at that point.
Don't worry, that'll pay off later.
Boy, it won't.
No, it won't.
Marty They learn. Tim says that Marty is coming down on Friday. He's got a job interview on Saturday. They might move down if all goes well.
Where do they live? Do we know that?
Probably in Bay City with everybody else. Yeah, I don't have a clue.
They mentioned Saginaw later on, so maybe they live a little bit north somewhere. But
all right.
I don't know.
Yeah, so I mean, he's moving down to be working at a sporting goods store, I guess.
Jordan, I'm sorry, I said Saginaw, but I meant Sag Nasty. My bad.
Thank goodness you corrected that.
Man, that's a joke people are gonna love. I like, the Second City level jokes and the Seg Nasty. These are one percenters, but if you're getting them, man,
you're loving it.
You are loving it.
You're loving it. Tim is excited about the prospect of his brother moving down. He recalls how they used to pick on each other, or how he used to pick on his brother mostly. So that's setting up the episode right here. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for Marty again?
No, I'm not. No, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Mixed feelings.
Marty's here now.
Yes, he is. Yes, Marty.
A knock at the door, and guess who's there? It's Marty.
Yeah, Marty's here. He's got an interview do we assume next day? Is that the situation?
Yeah, because it's like the next morning. It's Saturday morning interview day.
Yeah.
So
Marty's interviewing for a job at a sporting goods store that he's pretty sure is going to take off. So I'm thinking Dunham's maybe.
What do you think about Dick's Sporting Goods?
I don't think they were in Michigan in the 90s, Jordan. Sorry. We're going for realism. Marty's there. Jill's made pancakes, but apparently they are very, very heavy. They're dense.
I'd eat them anyway.
Yeah, I love pancakes. Heavy, light, fluffy, whatever.
Are you a pancake, waffle, or French toast man?
Pancake.
Ooh.
Easy. Jordan, don't get me wrong. I like all three, but yeah, pancakes for certain.
I think
I know what you are. I know what you are. You're a French toast.
I am a French toast guy, but I love waffles and pancakes as well.
I can tell by the tenor of your voice. Yeah. Marty is apparently not any of them. He doesn't like any of those.
No, he doesn't like them at all. He's nervous, I guess, too. He's a little nervous for this interview. I mean, it could change the whole projection of his life.
Although, I don't get the feeling Marty's a great interview. I can't imagine it going real well. He doesn't have a real presence, with his own brother. He doesn't have much of a back and forth. But yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. But Marty somehow has gotten Marty's wife, Nancy, and she comes in from a long run. She's working off what she says is like baby weight from the twins, and this was a little strange to me. She kind of takes off her shirt, and she's just got like a training bra on, or
it's a sports bra, I guess.
A sports bra is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, I don't know if we want to finish the scene or if you want to just talk about it now, but yeah, how'd Marty land Nancy? Let's get real. How'd Marty land Nancy?
Also, how did he keep her? Because at one point he was going to abandon her.
Yeah, Nancy is considerably more attractive than Marty. I like the actor. I like the performance. Marty's just kind of lame, and she's even throughout this episode kind of willing to roll with the punches. So yeah, how did he get her? How did he keep her? I have no idea. She comes in for this run. Yeah, she's trying to lose baby weight, but she's super thin, so it's kind of absurd. But yeah, she does immediately strip down to her training bra, which I don't know. Yeah, regardless
me as
of
a little odd.
Regardless of whether it's family or not, it is sort of strange. Nobody really bats an eye except for Tim, who is immediately kind of gawking and making jokes. And Tim has a lot of jokes in this episode, kind of about how attractive he finds Nancy. But yeah, I thought the same thing at first. This is kind of strange. It's certainly.
I guess I knew what was going to happen in this episode, but I didn't expect this part of it.
Yeah, it did ring a little bit false, but I guess they're just trying to. I don't want to say plant the seed because that's kind of gross in the context of this episode. But
you already said it.
Yeah, I already said it. You edited it out. But yeah, they're trying to set up that Tim is kind of attracted to Nancy and that she is hot and sweaty and she needs to take a shower, Jordan.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a steamy shower secret sometime soon.
Boy, is there. It's going to be real soon. Yeah. So everyone kind of leaves. Jill needs to go get a gift for Sherman.
Sherman!
Marty's got to go to his interview. Tim goes outside, I think, to walk Marty out or something. And that's kind of when she decides, I'm going to go upstairs. She's got to use their bathroom because Randy's getting ready in his own bathroom for this party. This bar mitzvah. So she goes upstairs. Tim doesn't know anybody's anywhere at this point. He knows where Marty went, and that's it. Mm-hmm. Goes upstairs, he hears the shower, and he's intrigued. He's like, ooh, Jill, you're in the shower. And he's got some ideas in his head. So he starts...
What kind of ideas?
Well, I'll just tell you by telling you what he does.
Yeah.
He disrobes. He is naked. He goes to pull the curtain, and then, it's Nancy in there. And
yeah, they
both see each other.
Yeah, in quotes, yeah. Yeah, it's hashtag awkward, I guess. I don't know. I gotta stop saying hashtag. It's so annoying when people do that. Next time I do that,
berate yourself on air.
Next time I do that, either tell me to stop or edit it out, because that is very annoying.
You're just trying to be authentic, you know.
Oh, gross. Yeah, they get a good look at each other in the buff, naked as it were. And yeah, I mean, we immediately, Tim kind of like, he says something, but he's kind of like, like a cartoon character. And they run out and quickly put on towels. And, at first they try to act like it's no big deal. Nancy really isn't especially bothered by it.
No, she thinks it's innocent. It's an accident.
Yeah. Tim says we saw each other's hoo-hoos, which I didn't like him saying that. Kind of, just, I don't know. It's
that
like,
rubbed you the wrong way.
It's like grabbing a styrofoam cup. It kind of bothered me. And yeah, Nancy wants to tell. Tim says that, if we tell them, Jill won't like it. They're not going to take it well. Like, let's just kind of keep this a secret, and we can.
Do you think he's right?
It.
I mean, what would lead him to think that Jill would be upset about this?
I mean, like, no, I think that they should have just said something
immediately.
Yeah, because, like, it's not that big. Like, it was a mistake. And I mean, like, I think he just feels bad because, like, he does mention this because, like, he had just, like, been kind of gawking and sort of being gross earlier. But, like, Jill wasn't really bothered by that, and she was in the room for it. So, like, I think if they just said something when she got home, it wouldn't have been such a big deal. Jill's kind of... The fact that Jill isn't mad at the end of the episode is kind of strange to me because, like, not saying something is just... I would say that that's worse. But, I don't know.
That's how she feels, too. That's what she says. But we're not there yet. We're getting ahead of ourselves.
We're not there yet. Yeah, let's not put the cart before the horse, okay?
No, and I never do that.
No, you pride yourself on not doing that.
No.
Tim ends the scene by saying, if we told them we'd be a couple of boobs, and then they both are like, oh, I wish I wouldn't have said that. That's weird.
Tim goes and hides in the closet.
Yeah, yep. It's hijinks. It's hijinks aplenty. It's Three's Company meets Hitchcock's Psycho. So it's kind of the hybrid. Kind of the hybrid there, Jordan.
Quite a hybrid.
Yeah.
So we're gonna move on to the next scene. Tim's going outside. We know where this is going to lead. And I kind of have to digest this kind of hybrid that you've talked about. So it's a good time for us to take a break.
Let's take a break, yeah.
Wilson, here we go.
Wilson, I want to ask you a question. What are you doing?
Tim, I'm practicing an ancient Greek tradition. It's said that to fend off a flea problem, you pelt the front of your door with jugs.
Oh, don't use that word. I inadvertently saw my sister-in-law in the buff. I walked in the shower, I thought Jill was in there, and she was standing right there.
Well, Tim, that sounds totally innocent.
Oh, it was. But she's family, and you expect family to get the reaction like your 80 or 90-year-old grandma in there, but Grandma never looked like that.
So you enjoyed seeing Nancy in her birthday suit?
It was a very happy birthday. Yes, I did.
Well, Tim, this brings to mind the great Buddha.
The cheese.
That's Gouda. I'm talking about Buddha, the prophet. Even though I've always considered him a pretty big cheese. Anyway, Buddha says that men are conquerors if they have conquered the intoxications of temptation.
Yeah, I have no idea what you just said to me.
What I'm saying is it's perfectly natural for a man to be drawn to a woman he finds attractive.
I just wish this hadn't happened. If I'm going to walk in on a family member, it should be my brother Brian's wife.
Ooh.
As you mentioned, Jordan, Tim heads outside, and Wilson is throwing what we find out are jugs up against the wall, or up against a door, side of his house, something.
Tim says don't mention jugs.
Yeah, a lot of that going on. Some of those jokes land, some of them don't. It's 50-50. But he's doing it to ward off fleas.
It's a Greek tradition.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, everybody knows that. Yeah. He explains the situation to Wilson, and Wilson doesn't really give very helpful advice. He essentially, I think that he just says like men are naturally attracted to women. I feel like that's kind of all I got here. Is there a lot more? What am I missing?
Yeah, I mean, he quotes Buddha, and he says men need to conquer their temptation. In this case, I guess Wilson would say a natural temptation.
Yeah.
And I think
there's not any advice here.
No, the Wilsometer
really,
reads 50.
It's like 50. It's pretty middle of the road. There's a Buddha Gouda mix up as well, which is not bad. And I think Tim says
it's sort of cheesy, if you ask me.
Oh yikes! It says something about seeing Nancy in her birthday suit, and Tim says it was a very happy birthday. Which is funny.
But why does he keep saying this stuff?
It's just like stop saying this stuff. Like if you actually feel bad about it, you would stop making these kind of
he just can't help himself.
Off the cuff remarks. But yeah, that's the fence scene. That's Wilson. We're not doing the Wilsometer anymore. So
yeah.
Next scene.
All right, inside later. Brad is on the phone, and is this Grandma calling again? Yeah, I think it's Grandma.
Grandma's getting no respect in this one.
No, she's calling and she wants to leave a note, and Brad mimes like he's writing in the air. Really just rude. Why?
Yeah, that's for, you know who that's for? The camera. Because he's not even like fake making a noise or anything. That's for the camera. That's for the little boys and girls at home.
Oh boy. What else is for the little boys and girls at home?
That double-breasted.
Randy comes in from Sherman's. The party's not over, but he split his pants doing the limbo, and he needs some help. So.
What color would you call this suit? Is it brown or is it?
It's like a brownish,
dark green.
I was gonna say brownish green.
Yeah, it's baggy.
It's not a suit you want to wear.
No, I'd probably wear it, but it's baggy. He's got it like all the way, buttoned all the way to the top. He looks cool. He looks 90s cool. This is JTT coming into his own.
Yeah, and then he immediately tempers the cool with his underwear.
Yeah, he split his pants, just like, I don't know if you saw this, but I think Nick Kroll split his pants right before going on to Kimmel last week. So, relatable premise.
Perfect.
Definitely. Yeah.
Perfect.
I don't know if he's doing the limbo or not, but
no,
yeah.
I doubt it.
They come up with the clever idea to staple the pants shut, which, I tell you what, I had flashbacks to Home Alone. It's either 1 or 2, whichever one. I don't know. Marv gets like a staple in his nether regions and also in his nose, and yeah,
painful.
It's painful stuff. But
you ever gotten a staple in your nether regions?
I
didn't want to ruin my question of the week, but I guess I'll ask it now.
We are, thematically, this is a raunchy episode, and we're just going right along with it. Jordan, I just can't answer that question, unfortunately, because there's too many instances of it happening.
Yeah,
we must move on.
Yeah.
Tim walks in, and this is a pretty funny moment. This is something like, I hate to pry, guys.
Yeah,
but,
I got a laugh out of me for sure.
Yeah. They explain the situation. Tim says that it's stupid, that he should go get his hot glue gun instead. So
they're not into that, though. They know what's going to happen.
Nope. Marty comes home, and it's one of those interviews where he found out he got the job right there on the spot.
Perfect.
So he must have wowed him. Around the same time, Jill and Nancy come in, and he tells them, and everybody's very excited, and Nancy's hugging everyone, and then she gets to Tim, and Tim just kind of shakes her hand. Tim is, he has no chill in this one. He's incapable of kind of acting normal.
Well, Nancy also is kind of not willing to give a hug at this moment. So I think they're both a little...
Okay.
And I think hers is more because she wants to tell, and his is more because he doesn't want to tell.
Yeah. They're both acting sheepish.
I'd say.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Not cocksure, though.
No, they wouldn't dare. They wouldn't dare. All right, so if you think they're sheepish now, just wait till this next scene at Big Mike's.
Wait till they get to Big Mike. It is insane how often Big Mike's is used on this show. I didn't remember.
No.
Did you remember Big Mike's at all, looking back?
I remember a couple of episodes, but I didn't realize I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. How many times do you think we've seen Big Mike's? 10?
Yeah, 7 to 10.
About that.
7
yeah,
to 10.
Quite a few. It's they're getting their use out of that set, and hey, I dig it.
This is it's time for a celebration, so that's where you go. Big Mike's.
Pour
Marty,
a couple glasses of foam.
a lot of foam.
Oh my gosh.
A lot of foam.
Hope they got some money back on those drinks because that's basically just foam.
I mean,
in a glass.
judging by Big Mike, I don't think so. A toast from Marty about his wonderful wife and such things. Nancy kind of immediately here wants to bring up the situation in any way possible. She's basically said, like, they talk about appetizers, and she says, well, we can share something. Let's share this. And he's just like, no. Tim is avoiding it. A song comes on, and Tim, to avoid one of these situations, says, oh, Jill, it's our song. Let's go dance. And as they dance, Jill notices that Tim's uncomfortable, but he's still not willing to share. Then Marty does another strange thing.
This is very strange.
Kind of weird here. Marty says, I want to dance with my sister-in-law, so he cuts
It's weird that both men are fairly attracted to their sister-in-law. I mean, I don't know. Marty's like, I'm with my beautiful sister-in-law. I mean, hey, don't get me wrong.
It's all that foamy beer. It's got
Patricia Richardson is attractive, but yeah, I mean, like, geez, these guys are really their jaws are dropping for each other's wives. It's quite strange, but yeah, I think the foam went to his head. You're right.
I agree. Yeah, so Tim and Nancy struggle to dance. And I guess
this is funny.
This is another funny one. They're like standing really far away from each other, and Tim's just kind of shaking his arms.
Yeah.
Nancy is fed up, and she wants to get fed as well. So it's time to it's time to eat. Well, is this the part 2 where Tim asks somebody else if they want to cut in?
Nancy says, "This is ridiculous. There's enough room between us for another person to fit in." Tim leans over and asks this guy playing pool if he wants to join in. And direct quote, the guy says, "I don't go in for that type of stuff. Or I don't go in for that type of thing." Really funny.
I really liked it.
I thought it was really funny. Did you like it?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, it's great. The guy kills it. I don't know who he is. I don't know what he did. I'm not.
This whole scene actually is my favorite scene of the episode.
It's a good scene, but man, that guy crushes that line.
Did you?
I don't know what he's doing these days, but I hope that he looks back on this episode and knows that he killed that line.
Did you watch the outtake with him in it? Because he crushed his outtake too.
I don't do the outtakes anymore.
I just don't do them.
I don't go in for that type of thing.
Well, basically in the outtake,
I love that guy.
He surprises them and says, "Yes, I do," and he like jumps in and dances with Tim.
Oh, see, that's funny too.
Yeah.
I mean, when you got this guy in the fold,
superstar.
Yeah. Maybe I should get a bio. I don't know.
I don't know
keep
if he's in
talking.
there or not. All right, so they sit down. It's time to eat. They're talking about what they want, and Nancy has had enough at this point. She brings it up. She kind of bursts out with it, and there's before anyone can react, La Cucaracha comes on in the background, and Tim says, "Oh, this is our song," and he gets around and starts dancing, and that is the end of the scene. And
it's not a great ending to the scene because he's like, "La Cucaracha, I didn't mean it."
I mean, I laughed at that too. I don't know. I just liked it. I like the scene.
All right.
Do you have the name?
It's hard to tell because there's no picture.
Oh no. You can read all the names it could be.
Do you think he would have been construction worker?
I mean,
no, probably not. Probably not, because that would be.
What are the options? Scene. Let's go through the options.
Well, there's either stage manager,
nope,
or construction worker. So I guess he's not here.
Yeah, it would be neither of those.
Shoot,
that's weird. Well, you usually give. I mean, he has a line, so you would think he would be in there.
Well, he slays it, and I hope he went on to do huge things.
Later at home.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I had anything else to say about this.
You love the La Cucaracha, right? That's your song.
I did not like that part, but I liked everything else in the scene. We head home. Marty's mad. They are both just kind of, they being Nancy and Tim are both kind of just trying to explain their situation, where they were coming from. I don't know how this comes out, but Tim says, would it make you feel better if you got to see Jill naked? To which Marty again, he's kind of into it. He's like, well, the worst thing in the world.
Nancy and Jill rightly are very offended.
And Nancy's like, Nancy should just leave this guy, first of all. Like, come on. Like, Nancy, pack your bags and go to your sister's, okay? Because this is not working. That's pretty much it for that scene.
Yeah, very, very quick, very strange. Upstairs, Tim and Jill are in the bedroom. Jill doesn't understand why Tim didn't tell her. She should understand her husband by now. He just does this stuff. It's kind of the way he operates. But he tries to blame it on Nancy. Initially, he says, like, she didn't want to tell, and she sees right through that. She's the one who was, like, bursting with guilt. So Tim felt guilty. You said this earlier. Tim felt guilty for liking what he saw more than, what actually happened. And Jill feels that she trained him well because he feels this way. So, he can't look at another naked woman without feeling guilty. And so she deems it a success, and she's not really upset anymore. And Tim also shares he went into the shower thinking it was Jill to begin with. So that's nice. It's nice that they feel that way about each other still. And Jill wants to start the shower right now.
Keep going.
That's it. End scene.
Keep going. What happens? What are they going to do?
Later.
I know, is this another? This is going to be another steamy shower. I don't know about a secret, but another steamy shower scene. One thing I want to say here, Jordan, is just to kind of connect the dots from the beginning of the episode to the end. Is we're talking about Wilson being in Friday the 13th, or perhaps being the father of Jason. And we've mentioned this before, but Jensen Daggett, who plays Nancy, was in Jason Takes Manhattan. So everything's cyclical.
Circle.
Yeah, and obviously one of the famous lines of Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger says, "I'm your boyfriend now, Nancy." So, we're coming around to everything here.
Does he
really? I had to get that out. Yeah, I had to get that out.
That's insane.
Yeah, so, it's insane. I know your mind's blown.
Your favorite scene of the episode, I think, coming up
This is where the Psycho thing came into play for me.
Okay. It is Psycho.
Yeah, so it's really stupid. Tim is showering, presumably later, and the camera kind of cuts to the outside of the shower, and did you ever think this was Nancy?
No, I was very confused by the hair here.
So it's what is supposed to look like Nancy is sneaking towards the shower, and Tim saying, "Nancy, I'm in here. Nancy, I'm in here." Pulls the curtain, and it's Marty in a wig that looks a little bit like, quite a bit like Nancy's hair, in a bathrobe, and he just kind of says, "Gotcha." So
and he flashes him.
And he flashes him, and Tim's naked too. So it's just two brothers kind of looking at each other naked, and the audience doesn't really laugh at this. And I didn't really laugh because it's so strange. It's really, really weird.
It's weird. Tim is not surprised. He says, "Well, you get my back, will you?"
Yeah, it's just super. I mean, it's just really strange. It's very. I was going to say cartoonish, but I don't even think a cartoon would broach this kind of territory. It's just bizarre, and I don't know where Marty got the wig, where he got. If it's his wife's bathrobe, probably. And the greatest question is, why did he feel compelled to do this?
Yeah, what is he thinking?
Is this a good prank? I don't know. Is exposing yourself a good prank? You have brothers, you tell me.
Can't say this is one that we've pulled on each other.
Roll credits, fade to black. The Naked Truth. A.K.A. Sister in Lust, I guess. I don't know. Jordan, what do you think of this one? How's Knowles?
I'm all over the place with this one. At times...
Tell me about it.
At times, I think it's really funny. I really enjoyed the big mic scene, the awkward dancing with Nancy, that guy who had the great line, playing billiards, all that sorts of stuff I think is funny. The premise, I think, is interesting. It's something different. I do think it's a little weird, some of the jokes that Tim keeps making, and it seems a bit unnatural how they get to that point, with, like, the whole, she disrobes after her run and all that kind of stuff. That doesn't feel like something that would have necessarily happened, but...
They also, we didn't mention this, but, like, Jill specifically says, like, use our bathroom because Rainey's and that. It is kind of, contrived a little bit.
Yep. So, at least the boys have something to do for a little bit. The stapler bit's good with the hot glue gun and Dad coming around. So, it's all right. Wilson's advice isn't particularly great, and the opening scene is a bit confusing to me as far as, Tool Time is sometimes this one show that's live and there's a million people there, and other times it's very slow and there's like one cameraman and all this other stuff. So I don't know. Some of that logistical stuff didn't quite make a lot of sense to me, but at the end of the day, I wasn't thinking too much about it because I had to figure out what was going on in that last scene with with Marty. So, Adam, what are your thoughts?
Wait, you're pretty middle of the road on this one.
No,
or did you like? I really can't tell. That was you basically you said you went one good, one bad. Do you like this one or not? Can you just tell me?
I would say I like it more than I dislike it.
Okay, that's good.
I'm not gonna say I love it.
And no one's asking you to.
Love it or list it?
I would love it as opposed to listing it, I suppose. I mean, yeah, I guess I echo much of what you said.
Mostly because I said everything.
You did say a lot there. You covered basically anything interesting I might have to say. I will just say again that it's funny. I don't know. For all of its shortcomings and sort of, there's just some strange stuff. Like you said, the Marty thing is weird. Her just stripping down to her sports bra after a run, like in the kitchen in front of... and Jill mentions later in the episode that she really doesn't know her. Like, she's like, I'm really starting to like Nancy, which is implying they don't really know each other that well. Like, that's just sort of a strange thing. But the general kind of conflict did yield quite a bit of comedy, and I did laugh several times at Tim's lines and like his sort of inability, both of their inability to kind of connect after that, whether it be the dancing scene or pretty much anything at Big Mike's. I thought the Randy suit stuff was good. I love that guy's delivery about I don't get into that type of thing. Yeah, I mean, I just laughed a lot. There are, like I said, just some odd moments. The Tool Time stuff isn't spectacular, but it's
anytime you're walking
laughs.
in on your sister-in-law naked, I guess there's going to be some odd stuff going on. You know?
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, but yeah, I ultimately enjoyable episode, enjoyable to cover, enjoyable to talk about. So yeah, pretty good.
Good. All right. So if you'd like to reach out to us, this is Sean's social media roundup. If you're wondering.
That's what we're doing. Yeah.
Okay. So if you'd like to reach out to us, you can go to thehomeimpodcast.com. We're on Twitter at Home Impodcast, Facebook.com/Home Impodcast. If you'd like to support the show, you can do so by leaving a review on your favorite podcast app, or you can go to patreon.com/Home Impodcast and support us for as little as $1 a month and get access to our behind the scenes outtakes, and also Adam's home improvement reboot script. Adam, what's going on Twitter?
Well, Jordan, the hashtag Let's Keep Our Donuts Simple has taken Twitter by storm, obviously creating sort of a miniature revolution, so thanks for everybody that got on board with that. Favorite type of donut, 15 total votes. 7% said plain, 13% said nutty, 20% said vanilla/chocolate frosted, and 60% said glazed. So,
wow.
Yeah, I guess am I surprised? Am I not surprised? I can't even say. I don't know what I expected. Otherwise, a couple people reached out. At KMans15 said he would have liked to have chosen all for his answer.
Wouldn't we all?
That at KMans is a real rapscallion, isn't he?
He is. He's a troublemaker.
He's a troll. He always has been. At Cake Tweet says coconut. So she would have liked to have had
another
option.
troublemaker.
Tremendous rapscallion as well. Just two of the all-time greats there. I posted the facade of the Darren Samantha house that they blew up, and then I tweeted at Richard Karn to see if he had any fond memories. And he says that some of the Bewitched cast came and watched as the house exploded. You think he's yanking my chain?
That doesn't sound like the Karn man to yank anyone's chain.
I don't know. He uses a lot of emojis, and he did like the angel face at the end of this one. And maybe he talked to like younger people about how to decipher emojis. I'm just not really sure what the angel halo thing means in the context of this tweet. So either Karn's yanking our chain, or
perhaps it means
90-year-old Dick York and whoever played Samantha came and watched this house explode. I don't know which is more likely.
I
frankly.
thought perhaps maybe it meant the house is, resting in peace.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, Jordan. But that's all I got. So follow us on Twitter. Be a part of something just really special, I would say.
I would agree.
And that's our Twitter feed.
I would agree. Adam, it is time for the question of the week.
Mm-hmm.
And it's my turn.
Mm-hmm.
And, I did waste that earlier question about... was it stapling?
It doesn't matter.
Stapling in other regions. Instead, I'm going to go... this episode talks a lot about showers and getting naked and cleaning yourself.
Okay. All right.
And I'm just going to break it down to this.
Okay.
Are you a bath guy at all, or are you just strictly showers?
It's a weird question. Bath.
A weird question for a weird episode.
Bath. That's all I care to say about that. Your answer?
Not really into baths unless it's like a jacuzzi type bath.
Okay, what are we covering next week?
Next week we're covering Talk to Me.
Alright, sounds good. Well, listeners, thank you for listening. Jordan, thank you for joining me. I guess I should say take care.
Yeah, take care, everybody.